Hey Phoenixes, welcome to another episode of Free Create Fridays, your weekly dose of creative inspiration for fun spiritual exploration. I'm Daniela Langford, founder and head creative transformational catalyst at ReDesign Your Life Forever. This week we have a super fun craft. We will be making fiber feathers. Yes, that's right. Feathers made out of fiber, out of yarn. These are super cute. And next week, we will be combining these with another project to make a fiber dream catcher. Oh, I love dream catchers and I love feathers, and I'm sure you do too. And this is a super fun craft that you can do with yourself, with anyone, pretty much ages competent to up. So let's dig in. Let's go ahead and get ready. We're gonna do some stretches. We're gonna do some seated stretches today because I know a lot of us don't have a lot of time to get up and stretch. So we're gonna practice some of those today. So grab your wine, grab your tea, grab your inspiration, and let's dive right in. Okay, here we are. We're gonna get our stretch on in a seated position today because again, I know many of us don't get a chance to actually get up and walk around. So here are some sneaky ways to get in your stretches if you can't get up. Like if you're at work, you're dealing with something, and you're just like, oh, I needed to stretch out. Here are a few ways to do that. So we are gonna start, I need to stay down here. So we are gonna start with our traditional fall forward, except from a seated position. Reach and fall forward and touch your toes if you can. This is a great back stretch. Can also lean to the side. Get all in through here. Other side. Back to the center. Reach, 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 reach. And roll. Roll her back up. Oh, so nice. If you haven't taken a chance to stretch, this is a fantastic excuse. Next, we're gonna be lifting up, and as always, you can actually use the back of your chair and do a little back bend here. Ah, very nice. And while we're up here, we're going to lean to the side. Again, lengthening right through here. Lean to the other side. And if you want to do something like this, you're not super obvious. It's always good. Oh, very nice. An arm across. Either right above, right below, but not at the hinge. Wiggle those fingers. Always a good excuse. Back, and the other arm. Wiggle those fingers, 2 for 1. A little back, and even clasp your hands behind your back. And just lean back. Here we are. Here are all the supplies you will need to play along with us today. For starters, we're going to need some floral wire. This is 20 gauge wire. If you have 20 gauge wire at home of some other variety, that will work as well. You just want something that's a little stiffer. So we also have wire cutters. You will need scissors and a paintbrush that you do not care about because, much like previous weeks, we are going to be using Mod Podge, or you can use Elmer's glue, or you could also use good old cornstarch. Either way, if you use that brush and you don't wash it out after this process, you'll lose it. So grab a brush that you don't care about. You'll also possibly need some E6000 or craft glue and some hot glue. We also, for our table covering, you will need something to cover your table. You can use plastic wrap, much like this, or a bit of wax paper. For our finishing, we have a few markers over here, and the piece de resistance, you will need lots and lots of yarn. Now, some of these I got forever ago, and it is a great way to use up yarn, little pieces and things also that you've been having sitting around, or if you're like me and you love to raid the clearance yarn, this is a great way to use that as well. I mean, look how beautiful that is. So, this is everything that you will need to play along with us today. Gather up all of your materials, and I will see you on the other side. All right, to get us started here, you're gonna start with your wire cutters, a bit of yarn, and your hot glue gun or your craft glue. Now, if you're using E6000, it will take quite a bit of time for it to dry. However, I do know that E6000 pretty much never comes apart after the fact, so it is up to you. We are gonna start by cutting lengths of our wire. Now, making feathers, this is an entirely creative opportunity. There are so many different kinds of birds in the world that you can model your feathers after. You can make them long, you can make them short, however you want to go. So we will make a variety. Next, we are going to take one of your wires and some of your yarn. Now you can choose a white yarn, you can choose a dark yarn, however you would like. Again, this is totally creative. You can make something that is actually modeled after a real bird, or you can make something entirely mystical and fantastic. Now, if you're using hot glue, be careful. There's a trick. You can either lick your fingers or have a bowl of water, and by moistening your fingers, it really helps you be able to mold the hot glue and be able to touch it without burning yourself. Ta-da! And if you have a little bit sticking out still, that's okay, because we can cover that up. So here is your first stage, and I might suggest doing an assembly line if you're making quite a few of these, and go ahead and wrap all of your feather stems and then continue on to the next step. Okay, this is what your feather is going to look like when you are done tying it. Again, make sure that all the knots are down the one side so that you have all the pretty side on one other end. You'll also notice that I left a little nib tip, that sounds bad, a little nib tip right there on the end, because as we pull these forward, it will become part of the feather. So, now that you have this, you're going to grab our Mod Podge. Alright. You're going to lay out your feather on your non-sticky surface. And you have your longer nib here, and you want to work towards the shorter nib. Now I'm just using the brush before it has anything on it, just to pull them out. Okay, look how cute that looks already. I'm gonna grab our Mod Podge, or you can do a 1/4 cup of cornstarch to a cup of water. Boil it in a pan to where it gets nice and thick, and you can use that as well. Just gonna take our brush here, hold our end, and just gently start to apply that to our yarn. You do want to saturate it pretty well from the middle out. And don't worry if you think you're losing your color, because as most of you know, Mod Podge and Elmer's glue and things like that dry clear. So as you're applying your glue, you want to gently just start coaxing these forward. Much like that. Finally, these bad boys are all dry and ready for the final step. Here you can see the Mod Podge actually made them malleable, which is fun because that's even more so like a feather. Now is also the time, before I forget to mention, if you want to embellish your feathers, it's always best to embellish them all the way to the ends before you cut them off, so that way your cuts will be even and your design will be even on your feather even after you cut it. I've also left the strings that I hung them to dry on with because I'm going to be using these for next week's project, our dream catcher. And if they split a little bit like that, you know what? That's okay, because feathers you actually buy in packages or find on the ground often end up having a place. So, it makes it look even more natural. Last one. Awesome. These are all done, so I'm gonna clean up and we're gonna finish this video. All right, Phoenixes, here we are at the end, and here they are. How cute. I had a blast making these. They were so easy. Took a little bit more time than I expected, or maybe a little bit more yarn than they show you on those BuzzFeed videos, but absolutely adorable, and I cannot wait to use these next week with our fiber dream catcher. So make sure to tune in for that. That's going to be a fabulous one. So thank you for hanging out with me again this week on our episode of Free Create Fridays, making our fiber feathers. I cannot wait to see the pictures of all of your projects and all of your fun, amazing things that you are discovering and you are trying and having fun with. I love to see it. So thank you so much. This is Daniela of Redesign Your Life Forever, and I will see you next time.